Hello, hello, hello. It's not where we start, ladies and gentlemen. It's where we finish. I'm Anthony Gafa, and you're watching Unfiltered with Gafa. What I'm going to be covering off today is buyer's agent, the pros and cons, and going out and buying your first property on your own, the pros and cons. So, what's a buyer's agent? The bottom line is a buyer's agent is somebody you engage, a professional within that industry, within that region, to go and buy a property on your behalf. You're trusting them with your hard earned. So it's really important that you select the right buyer's agent if you go down that path. What are the key factors? Well, for me, personally, I actually love looking at properties. I struggle to drive past a property that's for sale without making a phone call. Mate, how much is this property worth? What are you doing with it? What's the upside? So I'm very interested in property, and you might be the same. So buying that first property may be something you actually want to do, especially if you're wanting to learn about the industry, learn about the space, jumping in, getting your hands dirty, talking to real estate agents, people within the industry might mean that's your way of learning about the industry, because a podcast can only take you so far. Books can only give you so much knowledge, but the practical knowledge and practical experience by jumping in and having those conversations is second to none. So when it comes to buying a property, what's right for you? Let's talk about doing it on your own. Doing it on your own means you need to research, you need to nominate areas, you need to understand recent sales within that area, which those results are at your fingertips. You need to understand how many properties are currently on the market, recent sales, what's coming onto the market. How do you find out what's coming onto the market? How do you get those hot deals? Do you go door knocking? Is that unethical to knock on someone's door? You see something advertised at your local real estate agent, but you don't like the guy. Can you confront him? You see something advertised on realestate.com or Domain. Do you just call the agent direct? Do you do a drive-by first? These are all the things you need to take into consideration because it's time-consuming. Again, me personally, I actually enjoy doing that research. I like it. I get fulfillment out of that because I'm passionate about real estate. But you may be just more of a numbers person. What does that mean? If I buy it for X amount, I need to see Y amount return. If it's residential in a growing area, I'm happy to have 2 or 3% return. If I'm buying something that's in an area that's probably not going to give me the growth, I want to see 3 or 4% returns. These are the things that you need to take into consideration rather than just jumping in. Are you doing it as the beginning of your learning curve, the beginning of your journey, or are you doing it because your funds are stretched and you can't afford a buyer's agent? So there's such a big combination here. The main points on doing it yourself is you will get what you want, but how long will that take? How many will you miss out on? Going to open homes on a Saturday and Thursday means, are you missing out on work? Are you sacrificing earning an income 2 days per week potentially because you're going to open homes? Are you sacrificing time? Time means growth in real estate. Time means money. But that growth could cost you a hell of a lot because you're learning. It takes you 12 months instead of engaging a buyer's agent where you've put a time frame of 4 weeks on it, and you could be in the market at 4 weeks as opposed to 12 months. So as we're leaning over to a buyer's agent, Let's talk about the pros and cons there. I think there's two cons. One is it costs money, and number two, you're not learning yourself. To be fair, if you engage the right buyer's agent, they will keep you in the loop along the way, but it's not quite the same as doing it all yourself. I feel, for me personally, I actually learn from my mistakes a lot. Yes, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I've learned. I call them learning steps, not so much mistakes where I'm beating myself up. When I make a mistake, it's a learning curve. I typically won't do it a second time round. So getting involved in buying a property by yourself and doing the work means that when you're buying your second and third, you may not need to use a buyer's agent. However, depending on you and your circumstances, you may not have enough time. Like I mentioned earlier, by using a buyer's agent, you get into the market at 4 weeks. By not using a buyer's agent, you've missed opportunities, and it's a year later. The property that you were buying for $1 million is now $1.1 million. The property that you were buying for $2 million is now $2.2 million. So utilizing the networks of a buyer's agent would have saved you money. I'm not here telling you which way you need to go. You need to understand what is best suited for you and your environment. What do I mean by that? Well, for you, you may be a professional or even a tradesman. Going to work on a Saturday, you could earn good money. The money that you're earning can go towards the deposit of a house and go towards paying an expert. To select the right buyer's agent, you need to have a criteria. Are they too spread? Can they not focus in the area you want to buy in? Are they a one-man band? Is that beneficial? Or do I want to go to a larger agency because they've got better coverage in that area? Using a buyer's agent, what is a fair price? Typically, you pay a percentage. Some agents have a fixed fee. What's better? I like to offer an incentive. So if there's a base price, it might be a fixed amount up to a certain amount. Like a fixed amount up to $1 million, you'll pay X amount. It might be $15,000 or $20,000 over a certain amount because the work's a little bit harder. If you're looking for a property that's worth $10 million in a certain area, in a certain street, in a certain suburb, there may not be as many of these properties, so the agent has to work harder. So is it fair to pay him a percentage of the value of that property? I think so. So their job is to ensure your purchase price is less than what it was going to be advertised for on the market. Or you could go the other way. Sometimes you have to pay a premium because that property wasn't going to be on the market, but they've managed to get that property. So whatever you are after, whether it's you're looking to save money in a property, you need to instruct your buyer's agent to deliver that task. Whether you're looking to buy something in a certain area or a certain street for that matter, you need to ensure your buyer's agent knows what you want. They need to know exactly what you're after. You don't want to waste anyone's time. You may have a buyer's agent and your instruction is, I want to put another level on this property, or I want to convert the loft into another bedroom. It needs to be on ground level because, I'm getting older. So some of the criteria that you put out to a buyer's agent is very specific, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to be too broad because you're wasting everyone's time and you're paying them good money to get the job done. Be specific in what you need. My advice is don't negotiate on the fees. Pay them what they're worth. Sure, if they're exorbitant fees or if they're over the top, have a chat to them about the fees. But think about it. If there's a buyer's agent and he's looking for a property for you in Sydney and he's going to get 2% from you and 1.5% from somebody else, who are they going to lean towards? So screwing them on the percentage is probably not going to benefit you. My advice is work them hard to get the best deal possible. If they can save you 10% on a purchase price, who cares about giving them an extra 0.5%? Get the buyer's agent to work for you, work with you, get the deal you need, whether it's saving money or securing a property in a desired street, in a desired location. So what works best for you? A buyer's agent that you can bark orders to, or doing the work for yourself? There's no right or wrong answer. The bottom line is, if I do it myself, am I going to get into the market quick enough? If I do it myself, am I going to lose the opportunity and potential to earn income elsewhere? If I do it myself, am I really going to understand the true value of what I'm buying? On the other hand, if I engage a buyer's agent, am I paying them $20,000 for nothing and I could have done it myself? By engaging a buyer's agent, am I just being lazy and getting them to do all the work when I had some spare time and now I haven't learnt anything? By engaging a buyer's agent, have they rushed into purchasing a property because they wanted to earn their commission? What would be the most important thing for me when selecting a buyer's agent? Price? Location? Are they a big company? Are they a small company? Me personally, I'd rather lean towards someone who's got a larger agency because they've got the contacts. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for them to contact agents, to contact people in that region where you want to purchase a property and let them use and abuse their contacts and get you the best deal possible. That's what's important to me. I wouldn't negotiate on price. I'd actually offer an incentive over and above their price. If you find this particular property for me and it's 10% under market value or 20% under market value, I'm going to share some of the upside. That's what I'd do. On the other hand, I probably wouldn't select a buyer's agent because I actually love property. I love the negotiation part. I really enjoy looking at properties. It's actually a thing that I enjoy. It's not work for me. And I love the negotiation part. I'd probably do it for free, to be honest. What suits me best? Buying a property on my own. What suits a busy professional or a tradesman who can earn good money in a weekend? Engage a buyer's agent. These are the things that you need to tick off. You need to ensure you're engaging a buyer's agent that's ethical, proven track record in that area, and they're as hungry as you are. When doing it yourself, you can't do this as a side hustle. You need to allocate time. You need to take time off work. You need to focus to ensure the market doesn't get out of sight. Be sure to follow me on I am Anthony Gafa on all my socials, and my podcast can be viewed on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and all leading podcast platforms.